my name is Delilah and today I'm doing my August wrap-up and haul combined. This video is going to be probably a little bit short because I'm combining the haul and the wrap-up all in one video, mainly because most of the books that I bought this month I read. So I'm just gonna go into them. I think I'll do my haul first. The very first book that I bought this month is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. And there wasn't anything special about me buying this. I got it to do the Booksplosion book for the month and I read it, so I'll talk a little bit more about it in a minute. The next book that I got in the month of August was Lois Lowry's The Giver. Very cheap book, super happy about that. I got it because the movie came out on August 7th, I think, and I wanted to read it before I saw the movie. And I didn't end up seeing the movie, but whatever. The next book that I bought in the month of August is called Breathe Into Me by Sarah Fowlkes. I think that's how you say it. Fawkes? I don't know. I got this book actually because I read a sample of it elsewhere and it piqued my interest enough to want to buy it, I guess. The last book that I bought for August, the last novel I bought is The Lost Hero by Rick Riordan. I read the Percy Jackson series for the Booktubeathon back in July, and I am going to begin. I haven't read this, but I'm going to begin reading it as soon as I get my hands on a couple more copies of the rest of the series. So yeah, I got this just to buy it, really, to have it on my shelf. And the last set of books that I bought, you probably already know if you've watched my anime convention adventures video, but if not, I'll just show you now. I got several books from the Bride of the Water God series by Mi Kyung-yu, I think, yeah. Oh, Yoon, sorry. Or if you could see on the Korean right there, it says Yoon Mi-kyung. And yes, I read the actual Korean and not the English right below it. I got book 3, book 4, book 5, book 9, and book 10. I haven't read any of these yet. I have the very first one. I got that a long time ago. But I haven't read any of these. I plan on reading them once I get books 2, 6, 7, 8, and at least those, so that I have, enough to get to book 10. So it might be a while before I read these, but they were super cheap. They were like $5 each, and it was buy all 5 for $20. So I went ahead and bought them, and hopefully I can get my hands on book 2, 6, 7, and 8 soon. So that wraps up the books that I bought this month. It's actually quite big. I mean, bigger than hauls that I usually do, especially since I didn't particularly buy them at book sales or anything like that, aside from the Bride for the Water God series. But yeah, that's pretty big for me. I usually don't spend all that money on books. So now let's talk about the wrap-up. I had a pretty good reading month. Thank goodness, right? And I read 4 books, which is very normal and average, but really good for me. I didn't read no 14 books like last time. I think it was 14. And the first book that I read in August is No Plot, No Problem by Chris Beatty. It's the guide to NaNoWriMo, so it's a writing book. Actually, I started this book back in July, I believe, or June, I'm not sure, but I finished it this month, and I ended up giving it, I think this doesn't have a star rating, this is a nonfiction book, so on my blog, if you go to the ratings page, you'll see that I have 2 different rating systems for nonfiction and fiction books, and for this one I gave a Scout's Honor. It was really good, but I'm not sure that it would help everybody. I think it's geared towards the person who's participating in NaNoWriMo. So I highly recommend that to people doing NaNoWriMo. Other writers can take a lot from it, but I think it's mostly going to benefit those participating in NaNoWriMo. The next book that I read in the month of August was Breathe Into Me. I plan on having a more in-depth review coming up soon, just simply because I have a lot to talk about when it comes to this book. But I ended up giving this book 2 stars out of 5 stars. It's a pretty low rating. I'm going to have a review on my blog. Until I get the video review up, go ahead and check that out if you want to know why the star rating is quite low. But I kind of liked it. It's just, it wasn't really my cup of tea when it comes to a romance story. But yeah, if this looks interesting to you, go ahead and check it out. It's a pretty new book, and if you like romance novels, this is probably good for you. The next book that I read in the month of August is Lois Lowry's The Giver. Like I said earlier, I read it because I had every intention of seeing the movie, just because it looked really interesting. And a lot of my friends said that they read this back in like middle school or something, and I never did. I actually liked this a lot. I gave it 4 stars. It wasn't quite what I had expected, and I'm not really sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It was really enjoyable, and I do recommend it, especially to people who like to read young adult dystopian novels. The very last book that I read in the month of August is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. This book I actually read for the Booksplosion Book of the Month with Jessie the Reader, Katie Tastic, Poland Bananas Books, and Ariel Bassett. And well, I didn't read it like with them, but I read it for their reading group and to watch their discussion at the end of the month. This actually took me the entire month to read, not just because it's like thick, but because it's kind of slow and has like a really slow and steady pace, like a train moving in the night. I gave this book 5 stars out of 5. 5! I really, really, really enjoyed it. There were some plot holes, as they brought up in the discussion at the end of the month. There were some plot holes, but I really enjoyed it for what it was, and it was unlike anything I'd ever read before. I highly recommend this to anybody because it's just really good and really nice to read. So yeah, if you haven't read this book yet, I say full hands on deck. Read this book. 5 stars out of 5. That's it for my August haul and my August wrap up. I think that this month was really good. Not only did I read at a steady pace, but I also took a risk and read books that I usually would not read. So like The Night Circus is not something I would ever pick up. It's kind of historical in the way that it takes place in the 1800s and the late 1800s and the early 1900s, and that's usually just not my style, but I really, really enjoyed reading this book. And also I read Breathe Into Me. Though I didn't really like it as much as I had hoped, I usually don't read just straight up adult. Well, I think this is like new adult, I'm not really sure. But I don't just up and read adult romances, and I took a chance on it. I don't know if the payoff was quite that big, but I am still proud of myself for leaving my comfort zone and reading something completely different than I would ever read. So, yay, new things. So going forward, I really hope that September is just as good as a month for reading as August was, though, you know, August was super busy and I still managed to read my 4 books. So I'm hoping that even though September is starting to look really busy as well, that I get a chance to read 4 books so that I can stay right on top. I'm like at 70% with my my reading goal for, I think, 75 books, or was it 50? I think it's 50 for this year. So I'm just right on track of it, and I'm super excited that it's starting to look a lot more possible to reach that goal this year. So, yay! So, what kinds of books did you pick up in August? Did you read anything really good? Do you have any suggestions? If you do, go ahead and leave a comment below and let me know what you were reading and what you liked. I'm always interested to see what everybody read for the month. And, yeah, that's all I have for you today. I will see you next time. Have a fabulous day. Bye!